as a quick little disclaimer, I'm probably going to get a little more negative than I usually get in my talks, but I am trying to do this as consciously as I can. So, the topic, I have a series of topics, but it kind of all ties together to some degree or another, and it's art. To just make art is great, but it's not necessarily more sacred than making art and getting paid to make art. Both making art where you get paid to make art and making art just for making art without getting paid. Both can be sacred, and both can be kind of frowned upon. A lot of it is about kind of your intentions and the quality that you strive to bring to the table. At least that's my view. So sometimes it's more sacred to value what someone has to offer and hire them to make a generous offering for what they have to give. So you're actually giving them a job, right? You see the value that they have in their mind, that they've cultivated in terms of their skills, and you give them money as an offering, right? This can be a sacred thing, right? The premise of my argument is that it's not just sacred to just make art for art's sake. That's not the only way for art to be sacred. And when I say art, it's like a generalization of all forms of creativity, or benevolent creativity. Nothing that's vindictive or harmful. So yeah, going commercial and selling out doesn't make someone any lesser of a person. It's how the person does it. How do they do business? How do they interact with other people? How do they conduct themselves? Right? What are they bringing to the table? When they come into the marketplace, whether it's a farmer's market, a shop, an online shop, what have you, what is being offered? How do they treat the people that they're selling their products to? What are their products that they're selling, right? All of this, there's a whole spectrum of quality. And we can't compare ourselves to other people too much, but one tries their best to offer the best that they have while they're alive and kicking before they die. So most or many famous artists have sold their art to someone at some point in time. That doesn't make them evil, right? It doesn't make them bad. It doesn't mean they've caved into capitalism and that they're weak and now broken. That is kind of a very black and white projection. We all need to survive, and the conditions on Earth for humans to survive today is much different than in the past. In the past, maybe there's hunter-gatherers, and then maybe there was farming and people could live off the land and do basic trading. But now, a lot of people live in the city and a lot of people depend on money to survive. So, people who are in the industry of being creative, people who are in the habit or the lifestyle of being creative, sometimes can lean into making money as a lifestyle, as a way of making a living. So, for example, Kurt Cobain, the singer and guitarist of Nirvana, he was a janitor making music that he loved, but eventually he was selling his music. He was selling his music in shows and CDs, what have you, right? That is fine, right? He did the best that he could, and if he had remained a janitor playing the music that he loved and just playing local shows, I don't know if he would have, if his music would have touched as many people. I just don't know about that. So some people the way that they talk can get very black and white, and there's almost these projections of superiority and inferiority, and it gets very concerning for me when I hear this kind of thing. And it's basically personal, subjective, and biased projections about what is valuable and what is not valuable. And sometimes, people that are just making art for art's sake, that becomes put up on a pedestal, and there's this sense of sacredness that's projected on that, and then it's demonized for creatives to make money, especially large amounts of money, and then it's culturally acceptable to criticize them for being greedy. Perhaps this ties into Judeo-Christian kind of maybe understandings or misunderstandings, or cultural Judeo-Christian ethics, which is neither bad nor good, but there may be some kind of a tie to that. But let's say hypothetically, there's someone that's a commercial artist, and maybe there's some kind of a punk or a hippie, a counterculture kind of person that identifies with counterculture and not with the predominant popular culture, and their mental projection is like, this music is bullshit, it's overproduced, it's plastic. So for them, at a personal level, that's their personal experience, and that's real and valid to them, but it's not like an inherent reality. Like, that music that's quote unquote overproduced and plastic and fake and not real and just bullshit, that music may very well be bringing joy to many people. It may be very well temporarily being a refuge, bringing peace to people's minds and hearts. It may be very valuable and helping people to formulate good memories with family and friends in their finite lifespan. So I just get my eyebrows raise when I hear like, this is good music, this is bad music, this is good art, this is bad art, this is real music, this is real art. It's like, again, it goes back to who's to say, right? Who's to say? It's who's to say? So Jesus Christ. I was listening to George Harrison from the Beatles, and he was talking about how Jesus Christ said, you have to put your own house in order, right? Before going around and criticizing other people, first, get your own ethics in line, get your own life in line, get your own body and health in order in line, get your own mind in line. And that's not easy to do. That's like a whole life trip thing. You do that your whole life, trying to get your house in order. Like, that's the metaphor. But like, trying to be a good human is not, at least for me, and it seems like for others, is not an easy thing to do. It's an endless struggle. Life is not necessarily easy. As Buddha said, like, there's suffering and there's hardship. Right? Mentally, physically, it's not like a walk in the park from birth to death. Another guy, he was saying, like, as a parent, you can't just kind of be a dictator and like tell your kids what to do. You may mean well, you may have good intentions, you may have really rational and reasonable intellectual and conceptual advice for your kid that's coming from a good place, but you as a parent have to be the example. So like, going back to the Christ thing, where put your house in order kind of thing, put your own house in order, it's like, work on yourself before you go around criticizing others and claiming like that this is real art and that's not real art, and this is good music and that's not good music. It's more of like, this is the kind of art that I lean into, that I have a bias to like. This is the kind of music at this time that I prefer to listen to, that resonates with me and excites me, right? But again, this is very subjective and temporary, and everything's in flux and changing, and it's very personal. It's like, it's not necessarily applicable to all the other, however many billions of humans are living on the planet. So yeah, I guess I just often get frustrated. I mean, I'm often being too critical myself, and I'm being very judgmental now. So again, I'm a hypocrite. And I came out with the disclaimer at the beginning that this was going to be kind of negative and judgmental, but it's something in my mind that I just want to kind of get out. It's kind of a rebuttal against negativity that I used to buy into, and I don't really want to buy into it anymore. But like, I just, there's a lot of criticizing of society, criticism of public figures, criticism of creatives, maybe that's sold out, so to speak. But as Gandhi said, it's like, be the change you want to see. There's another quote out there, I don't know who said it, but it's like, rather than bashing what you hate, promote what you love, right? You have a finite amount of energy and time. Is like, invest that into what you believe into, in what you believe in and how you want the world to be. Invest it into yourself and become more of who you want to be before you die. All of the criticism and judgments towards other people in the world, I don't know, that's not always the best thing for me. Like, I don't personally want to hear that very much, to be honest.